And we're live. So, who am I talking to today?
Hey, my name's Dakota Holyoke. Feels a little weird saying that. This is the first game I've used this name in, so it's usually like Bizkudo or something like that. But yeah, Dakota is fine. You can call me Dakota or Josh is my real name. And yeah, I'm pretty dang new to this game. Just started, yeah, just finished the A Realm Reborn,
Hmm.
and that's been a trip. That was pretty fun.
Yeah, yeah. So, how long ago did you actually start?
I did the free trial of this about a year ago. I did like a month of the free trial, and I got one character, or one job. I got summoner to level like 35, and I was like, okay, good enough for me. I'm done. And then recently, I don't know. I'm coming over from Destiny,
Okay.
so Destiny has a weird, like, vague future going on right now. So I just figured I'll give Final Fantasy 14 a try, and I'm absolutely loving it now. Things are just really clicking, and it's been a blast.
So that does explain why you were able to get through Realm Reborn, and and be okay. Destiny players have a lot of patience for grinding, and and just in general, I feel like as someone that
Yeah.
only looks at it from the outside, I have not played Destiny, so
Okay.
I've heard.
Yes, definitely. And I am not stranger to nonsensical stories that don't really that
Okay.
give you vague answers to everything.
Okay.
So
Well, at least that will be better here. Uh, maybe not so much in the Realm Reborn at some points, but it will all make sense by the end. I can say that. So,
I'm doing some of the like post MSQ stuff right now, and
yeah,
it's starting to like hook me. I'll
yeah,
be frank, I didn't get hooked until probably 3 days ago in the story, at least. The
yeah.
gameplay, absolutely, but the story itself, once they started doing the whole whatever the Asians, whatever
Ascians.
they're
Yeah.
Asi yeah, whatever they're doing in the background is creepy, and they're little puppeteers and stuff. I'm hooked now, so I
Okay.
want to see where that goes.
Okay. Yeah. No, you're in for a good time then. If that's kind of where you're at with the story, it only gets better from there. Honestly, if you can get through a Realm Reborn and all of the kind of jankiness that's still left over from their early days, then everything after is better, like 100 times better. So that will all pay off in the end. I promise you. Uh,
Excellent. I cannot wait.
yeah, I'll be pretty spoiler free, but it's good, and especially like if you like the gameplay already with your level, like what level are you now? Like 50 something,
56 right now
56.
with Dragoon, yeah.
So if you like the gameplay with level 56 Dragoon, by the time you're max level, you'll really enjoy the gameplay. Because for us that are like max level, when you have by level 56, you have like maybe half, a little bit over half your rotation.
I
So
don't have enough keybinds for this.
you're gonna need 3 hot bars. I can tell you that much.
Oh boy.
Every class that I have, except for Summoner, uses 3 hot bars by max level, pretty fully.
I assume
So
that's just what control and shift for like.
yeah, yeah, it's
Okay.
not set by default, I don't think, but Control and Shift is the easiest way for you to do it. That's how I do it because I don't have an MMO mouse. I just have a regular mouse with like 2 side buttons, and
Yep, I
so
have that too, yeah.
yeah, so I just keybind the side buttons to Control and Shift, and then that's how I do stuff. It works out pretty good.
Right, easy enough.
Yeah.
I swear half my gameplay, like once I finished A Realm Reborn, I kind of grinded the story. Like I just put my head down. I was like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
get through this. And now that it's finished and I'm just doing all the like blue unlock quests and stuff and unlocking trials and whatnot, I swear half my gameplay right now is like, I could tweak my HUD settings and tweak my keybinds here and there. So it's fun that I can just be really nitpicky with it. So I'm excited to
It's
see where that goes.
there's a lot that you can figure out about that. Like you can I don't even think that you have a job gauge yet at 56 if I remember right, or if you do,
No.
you might have. Okay. Okay, cuz you do get one eventually. I think it's like level 60.
Okay.
Um but when you get the job gauge, which the Dragoon job gauge is real fancy looking. I like the design a lot. You can switch between the regular ornate like one, or there's a little simple one that just turns it into a straight bar.
No,
Um,
no, I'm not
yeah,
having that.
yeah, no, no style over screen space. But um, there are so many things in this game as far as customization that go unnoticed by a lot of people. That
Mhm.
until they're pointed out, you don't know to look for. Like my early days, I didn't know to turn off the effect settings, like the battle effect settings, for people that weren't in like my party.
Mhm.
So the first time I went to an alliance raid with 24 people, I couldn't see the enemies because there were so many like spell effects and stuff going
Oh, I
off.
can imagine. It's so funny you say that because just like 3 nights ago,
Uh-huh.
it was a work night, and I was like, oh, you know what, I'll just do some duties or something right before I go to bed, just some
Mhm.
casual stuff. Oh, there's a frontlines duty. Oh, okay,
Yes.
so I play frontlines and didn't have the battle effects turned off. Oh my, I was staring at the screen or staring at the ceiling until like midnight, just visualizing the flashes and stuff.
It will make you go blind in a very short period of time if you don't turn those off. Uh, Learn very fast. Turn everybody except for yourself to limited, and and then turn yourself to full so you can see your own flashy effects. That's how I deal with it.
Done. I'm gonna
Um,
go double check that right now.
there's another setting that's about the tab targeting because sometimes people have problems with the tab targeting. There's
Mhm.
one like the default is to ignore depth, I think, and then there's another one that's just like a cone setting, and the cone
Okay.
setting is like 100 times better.
Oh,
Um,
yep.
so it just sort of targets people kind of within your general vicinity that you're looking at instead of just cycling through every single enemy that's on your screen. Uh,
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I have a lot of trouble with the targeting on this, and I
Yeah.
lose my mouse so often, so I
Yes.
can't like click on the enemies. So,
Yes.
okay, I'll try that
I
out.
honestly I think there's even a saying in there somewhere that you can press a button and like highlight your mouse. I think there's one of those too.
I need that. There's so
um,
many settings to go through. I love this.
I only recently found out because my biggest problem when I play like healers or even with Dragoon later, a little bit spoiler for one skill, it's not a huge spoiler. You get a damage buff that can buff you and one other person that you target, but you have to target them when you
Okay.
activate it. So
All right.
trying to target a teammate in the middle of fighting is something that I have a problem with as a DPS.
I can imagine.
So
Can you like click on their names in the upper left?
you can do
Okay.
that, but when you've got a full rotation going, you don't have a lot of downtime to be able to do that.
Mhm.
So I only recently found out that you can assign shift and control and like your scroll wheel like combined to like scroll through party members or enemy like on the list. Like
Oh,
you could just hold control and scroll up and down to go down by like so many team members, however long you scroll. And you can do this
interesting.
the opposite with shift for like enemies. So
Okay.
yeah,
Huh.
yeah,
I
I,
will give that a shot.
yeah. I don't do it because I'm just like ingrained in my ways after playing for like 10 years at this point. Everything else is just sort of just sort
Yeah.
of like in my normal wheelhouse, and everything that I try to add is just gonna throw me off at this point. But
Teach an old dog new tricks, right?
right, exactly. You can't teach an old dog new tricks, and I've been playing this for way too long to try to learn something new at this point.
You're a very old dog.
Right, right. Um, so is Dragoon the only class that you've been playing so far?
No, actually, I've been
I know you
dabbling in
mentioned
some
Summoner.
others.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I started Summoner, and honestly, this all right. This is a question I had
Hmm.
for anyone here. I've been playing around with the melee DPS jobs a lot, and
Yes.
those are really clicking for me. Like I
Yes.
tried out like Red Mage and Summoner, but like the cast times just don't. I get like annoyed when someone or something interrupts my cast time, right? And that really frustrates me. So now I'm just like, whatever, just ooga booga, grab a sword,
Right.
smash the enemy, right? So I unlocked Samurai recently, and that one's
Yes.
been fun. That one's been very fun.
Yes.
And of course, I was in the middle of some duty. I think it was a trial. I think it was a Thorn March, and
Hmm.
right in the middle of it, I level up, and the Kenki gauge pops up, And it's
Yes.
like, hey, here's how to do the Kenki gauge. I'm like, I'm trying to learn these mechanics right now. I can't do this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but Samurai's been really fun. That one's been cool. So, yeah, sorry, my question was, if I guess if I play a lot with other people, is it annoying to other people if I was just like, nope, no healer, no tank, no caster, I just am a melee DPS, that's all I do, you know?
No, no,
Okay.
and in my experience, that's fine. We have several people that just main the classes that they like. There's a few all-rounders like myself, but most people, I would say, have specific classes that they stick to. Um, a lot melee DPS is popular. It was your journey with this kind of mirrors mine. I started as a dragoon way back in the day.
Hmm.
And then I stayed a Dragoon main until Samurai, like until I played Samurai for a little bit, and then I
Hmm.
switched to Samurai main. I have the same problem with casters. That's why the only caster that I really play much of is Summoner, because they don't really have the cast times at like max level.
Okay.
So if you ever do want to play a caster, Summoner is the one to try to go for right now. That'd be the one that probably closest matches the stuff you'd prefer. Don't play Black Mage.
Yes, the little so you want to be a thaumaturge is sitting. It's going to remain there every time I go to Ul'dah.
Yeah, so Black Mage has they have some mitigation for it where you can do some instant cast spells, but like their default cast times for their spells, like some of them's almost like 4 seconds long. So
Oh my god.
and without fail, every time you go to cast it without having something to make it instant, the boss will target you. Like every single time. They have I
An
think they're
entity
coded that
button.
way. Like, I swear. Um so coming from Destiny, how long have you been playing Destiny for?
Uh, I'm one of those guys that's like, oh, since beta, like as a beta Destiny player.
Yeah,
So yeah, I was a huge Halo fan growing up. Halo and Final Fantasy were actually like the two games that I played the most growing up.
right,
So I was a huge fan of Bungie. Really got into like Halo Reach and grinded out those competitive ranks and stuff for a while. And then Destiny came out, and it was that mixture of shooter and RPG, and also like a little flavor of MMO in there. And
right,
it clicked. It was so fun. And I love those vague, nonsensical stories that like it didn't really wrap anything up
right.
until 7 years into the game. But it was, yeah, I don't know. It was a great game, and I'm actually wearing a Destiny shirt right now.
Are
So
you?
yeah, yeah, it's
So you've been playing since like Destiny 1 then. You've played 1 and 2.
yeah, one and two.
So
Played
you
played
have
them
like
both. So
10,000 hours in Destiny at this point.
I do not want to know. So it's actually fine. At my old job, this was many years ago, but like 5 years ago or so, at my old job, when you reached 5 year anniversary, your
Mhm.
boss would give a little presentation to say, hey, here's Josh, here's his interests, here's what he's been good at work and stuff. And my boss somehow got a hold of my hours on Destiny, and there were like trackers out there, right?
Right.
So she showed a pie chart of my lifetime since Destiny had been out. It was like 20% of my life had been in the game.
I knew it had to be a lot of hours because even though I don't play it, every Destiny player that I know, anyone that's ever tried Destiny or anything, they fall into one of two camps. They tried it for like 30 minutes to an hour and they didn't like it and then they quit. Or they've played 2,000 plus hours.
Yep.
There's no
I'm
in
definitely
between.
in the latter.
Yeah, I kind of figured. But that's all right. The people that like it really like it. Shun is one of those people that has
Oh,
played a ton of Destiny, knows all the lore bits. Um,
mm-hmm. He
all the
seemed
lore
like
bits.
a lore guy. He was
He loves his lore. He knows about the really confusing ones too. Only it seems to be specifically the really confusing ones between Destiny and Kingdom Hearts.
I think he said Xenoblade Chronicles was in
Xenoblade
there too.
Chronicles is in there. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that's it too. this game, he also is really big into the lore with like the really obscure stuff that I'm not gonna get into since you probably haven't seen it yet. Uh, but there's a lot of hidden stuff in this one too that you can look into just in like NPC dialogues and stuff like that. But
Cool. Are
yeah.
there good there's in the Destiny community there's a guy called his channel is called My Name is Bife, and
Mhm.
he just does these long form lore videos, and he has a beautiful voice, and the way he narrates it is wonderful. So
Right.
I don't know, is there anybody in the Final Fantasy world that um, does something like that?
I'm sure that there are, but I don't tend to watch those videos as much. I go through and I read it myself, basically.
Okay.
So I don't know who to recommend to you. I was gonna say for a while that there was a WoW streamer that came over to the game. His name was Pyromancer, and he seemed to be really big into the lore stuff.
Mm.
But he kind of like exploded himself in a way online, and so I don't know like I don't know if he ever actually went in depth on stuff, but he yeah he was a little volatile and it kind of blew up.
I
But
see. Okay.
so I don't
Avoid that
know.
one.
But it's definitely there are a lot of resources out there. There's like whole wikis and stuff like that too if you want to just read it on that. But it's everywhere in this game. If you actually pay attention to the like quest givers when you unlock side dungeons and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Um, which speaking of, actually, since you probably just freshly finished a Realm Reborn, I'm assuming you've done the Praetorium.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. So you just probably unlocked the whole world of like all these level 50 side dungeons with these plus signs you can unlock, right?
That is my current job right now. Yes.
Okay. I do have one recommendation that
Okay.
I feel like you should go in blind for. Um, it's Tamterra hard mode, and go in to that dungeon ideally with a group that doesn't mind if you like walk around and read the notes that are in the dungeon.
Okay.
Okay, I don't want to say more than
Okay.
that, but
Okay.
that's my
I
favorite.
think okay. I think I've done that one, and I remember little sparkly things that said so and so's note.
Ah man, so
So
okay, so
I
you didn't get to
still
read
need to
them.
do it.
Yeah. Oh, you haven't done it
Okay.
yet.
Well, no, like I need to read through it, and
Oh,
then
okay.
I don't know. I think when I was going through these, I feel
Mm,
uh, guilty about holding people up, so I just skip
right.
the cutscenes, you know.
Oh no.
So okay,
Oh
so
no.
maybe oh ew.
Oh no.
I'm committing a crime here in Final
You've done
Fantasy.
something terrible, yes. Did you skip the cutscene after the dungeon?
I don't remember.
Oh
I don't
no.
remember. I remember doing it. I'm looking at the duty finder right now,
Uh-huh.
and the little thing looks familiar, and the name looks
And
familiar.
does it have a green check mark next to it in
Yes, it
the
does. Yeah.
shit. Okay.
Well, I can still do it. It's not like
You
it's gone forever, right?
you can, but I don't know if it well, it's not gonna do the like after dungeon cutscene anymore. Like
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay. Well,
So
all right.
in this
Sorry.
game, and I had to break myself of this habit too early on. In this game, people don't mind if you watch the cutscenes. So
Okay.
they you almost never catch any flack for watching a cutscene if it's your first time through. Now, you might catch a little flack if you stop and read those notes with just like a random group that just wants to do their roulettes or something.
Okay.
But no, watching cutscenes is not considered something bad in this game.
Okay. Cool.
Um,
I will sit back and enjoy them.
so since it's too late to to see the
Fire away. Yeah.
yeah, so since it's too late, I recommend watching it on YouTube, just like someone's playthrough of it or something with the cutscenes in place. So at the end of that one, you fight uh, the floating head of Veer, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
so I don't know how much of the cutscenes before the dungeon you caught when you were just like picking up the quests and stuff.
Uh,
Um,
vague
Vague.
amounts of it.
Okay, this is something that maybe is easier to pick up on a second playthrough, honestly, but
Okay.
so there was
Yeah.
this adventuring party early on that was adventuring outside the same dungeons you were initially going to for like the first three of them.
Hmm.
And in like the third one, when you first go through Tamtara, I think it's Tamtara.
I'm sorry. Is this the one that our Discord logo is from?
Yes.
Yes, I do remember that one.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. All
Okay.
right. I'm sorry.
So you
We
have
can keep
seen.
going if you want, but I do remember seeing that, and it was really
Okay.
spooky and
Yes.
cool. And then I was
Yes.
like, wait a second, I know I've seen that before. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I will try to find there's an entire write-up of that dungeon specifically, a really old one that's on either Reddit or the FF14 forums or something. There's a lot to that dungeon actually that goes unnoticed. There's writing on the walls in Eorzean script that actually says stuff and it's written in blood.
Oh,
There's the writing
that's
that's actually on the arena, the boss arena, says something that makes like the circular like summoning circle thing. There's a lot, and it even goes through the notes and stuff. I'll send it to you if that's the kind of thing you're interested in. But
please do.
yeah,
Please do. That's awesome. Okay, I need to start paying more attention.
yeah, yeah.
I,
All that is really that's a long-winded way of me saying like just if you want story and lore, it's in the game. You just have to look for
okay,
it.
all right. I will be more conscious of that.
Yeah, yeah,
I
that's all
think
good.
the A Realm Reborn kind of I don't know trained me to just be like, oh, let's just get through this. But I'll start taking my time now.
It does. Same thing with as another like kind of newbie suggestion. If you can find a group that'll just take you through it unsynced, because it'd be really hard content to try to do normally.
Hmm.
The Binding Coils of Bahamut, when you unlock those,
Okay.
which is they should be available to you now, but they're extremely important to the overall story of the game, and they are completely optional. And people miss them a lot because they're actually very hard to do. So
Okay.
that's something to
Is
put
it
on
an
the list.
eight-person party or four-person?
It's an 8 person party,
Okay.
and it's basically back in like patch 2.1 and 2.2 and stuff like that. We didn't have savage mode for things. Savage mode didn't exist. Like there was no savage trials or savage raids rather.
Hmm.
This was our first experience with something like savage mode.
Mm,
So, but then
okay.
they put like important story stuff behind it. So that was a choice that they never did again. Uh,
Okay, good. Then they look at 1% of
right,
the gaming population beating it, and they're like, "Ooh, we should make this more accessible."
right, and it's a lot of fun to try and do if you ever want to challenge yourself one day or something. But just go through it unsync for the story at some point, and it'd be worth it. But
Okay,
um,
perfect.
what what sort of so to kind of go backwards a little bit with your
Yeah.
experience with the game? So we have been sitting here watching people fly around and stuff because of all the fates going on. But
Yeah.
we're in sort of Central Shroud right now in Bent Branch Meadows. This is what you said was your favorite spot. Why did you pick this spot?
I when this was just like 2 nights ago, I just started flying around to different locations
Yeah.
and just checking out the vibe. I don't have everything unlocked just yet, but this one, well, one, I felt kind of cool because I went up. I don't know. I felt like I was going out of bounds on a game coming up here. Um, but also, I really like the vibe of Gridania. This whole like huge trees and this deep forest. And right now we have this nice like misty effect in the background,
We
which is really
do.
cool. I live in Minnesota,
Mm.
and my fiance and I love going up north to the Northwoods and going into like some of the lake country and doing bird watching and camping and hiking and stuff like that. So this just kind of gives me that Northwoods vibe, and so I really like that. And yeah, it's cool.
Okay. Yeah. I agree with you because Gridania is my favorite sort of starting zone.
Hmm.
Every time that I make a new character, if I can, unless I'm really specifically shooting to like start leveling a single class is not here, I try to start here.
Okay,
My personal house, which I don't know if you've been to the Lavender Beds, like the housing area here or not.
I have walked through them. Yes.
Okay, my personal house is in the Lavender Beds, and I'm not going to ever move it because I like woods, I like trees and
Hmm.
nature.
Hmm.
This is a good spot, and honestly, the idea that this is kind of like you experiencing out of bounds is not entirely incorrect because back before in Walker, we we couldn't fly in a Realm Reborn areas.
Really?
So yeah, even when they introduced flying, a Realm Reborn was still like ground only. So it's only fairly recently that we've actually been able to fly and get to the spots like this.
Interesting. Okay. So
Yeah.
this is a new phenomenon here.
Yes. Semi.
When we first got here, you were like, "Oh yeah, I know that place." So I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, it's the place everybody goes to."
No, no, no. I know the place because I spend a lot of time around here.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I have sat in this spot. I have looked out over the river at the big roots and the giant trees and watched behind me at the aetheryte. Like
Hmm. It's cool.
I
I
have
like
done
this.
this, yes. There's a few other spots that I go to. There's one kind of closer to Gridania where it's got one of these sort of like these buildings that we're kind of next to, these little towers here that
Mhm.
there's like a little cove cut into one of them that I sit in sometimes. But yeah, there's a
Okay.
lot of little secret spots like that. Um, so what since you're fairly new here, what sort of the things are you kind of looking forward to with the game with or what are your expectations kind of moving forward?
Yeah. So I think my favorite part about this game so far has been like one doing some of the dungeons and trials.
Hmm.
Most of them are easy right now. Like they can kind of be just powered through, I feel like. And I feel like everybody's kind of power crept them at this point.
Yeah.
But so learning the mechanics of all that is really fun. I don't know, just like learning all the new stuff. Starting a new class and being like, oh, this is how this gauge works. Or I was doing a red mage for a bit, and Shun actually sat like we went to a training dummy at
Hmm.
the FC house, and he was just showing me like combos and stuff like that and giving me pointers, and that was really cool. So just learning new classes and dungeons and trials, and eventually I'd like to learn raids. I've only done one alliance raid so far, and that was, oh my god, that I learned nothing in that first run through. And then I go back, I go to the wiki and I read through the mechanics. I was like, I
Hmm.
didn't do any of these mechanics.
Yeah, yeah. So about that, those early alliance raids are extremely overgeared now. So a lot of the mechanics they list don't happen anymore. They just get out DPS'd.
Okay.
The same thing like when you say you want to learn to do raids and stuff. One of my hangups early on that I had just put this idea in my own head that when I first unlocked alliance raids and just normal raids, I thought, well, this is going to be hard content. Like, I'm going to need to be like prepared for this and stuff like that. No, it's really not. So if you ever get an alliance raid, like 'cause there are some that are challenging, yeah, a little bit, but they're not like super difficult. Same thing with the normal raids. If you just unlock like a new normal raid, which those really start in like Heaven's Ward and beyond, they're not the normal versions aren't going to be that bad. There'll be some new mechanics for you to learn, but they're not super punishing, and it's something that if your party wipes, you can just immediately pick up again and just try it again, and it's not too big of a setback. You lose
Mhm.
like maybe 5 minutes or something.
Okay.
Now, when you unlock the optional versions of those, the savage ones, those are hard. Don't
Okay.
those are preform party only. Those are watch a video. A lot of times people will want you to watch a video. You can sometimes find blind groups, which I always think the blind is more fun just because I like to experience stuff like without knowing what to expect up
Oh
front.
yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Like put aside a night just to learn it with a bunch of people who don't know what's going on.
yeah, and for kind of like the later ones like Stormblood and Beyond, there are some transitions that happen that are really cool that if I had watched the video on how to do the fight, I would have been spoiled on. And
Mm,
firsthand experience, like seeing them happen, was a lot better than just watching someone else see it.
okay.
So,
Okay.
but yeah, basically, like, don't worry too much about difficulty if you unlock something new and be like, "Can I do this? Can I handle this?" You'll be okay in most cases.
Okay. Cool.
And if you're ever unsure, you can always ask. But I mean, chances are you should be fine.
Okay.
Now we're already we've already made it to almost the 30-minute mark.
Oh
Didn't really
wow.
seem like it. Um, I guess to sort of wrap up here. Any final things that people should know about you? You'd like to say about yourself, or just
Hmm.
general thoughts?
Um, let's see. I forget who you were talking with about the best Final Fantasy, and I think you guys said nine.
Bumble.
Uh,
Yeah.
yep, yep. So I got put six. I thought for the longest time I was a hipster, and I
Yeah.
thought six was like the hipster thing. I was cool for liking six more than seven.
Hmm.
And now, yeah, like you guys said, you get more into Final Fantasy, and it's like everybody likes six.
Yeah.
So I like six. It's fantastic. But I have to throw Final Fantasy Tactics Advance is probably my most played one. Like
Advance.
I love that game. It came out for the Game Boy Advance.
Oh, I know I
Um,
have it.
oh yeah, it's love that game. So, was that the first one, Ivalice too?
No, no, no. It was not the first Ivalice one.
Okay.
Ivalice actually came with the original Final Fantasy Tactics.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah,
that was in the same. Oh, okay.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So Ivalice was the original Final Fantasy Tactics on like PlayStation 1, and then it
Okay.
got continued in Final Fantasy 12.
Okay.
Yeah.
They need to
So
bring back Banga. I need my lizard boys back.
yeah, so the weird part about that is that the Benga and stuff, like, they weren't in Tactics. That was
That's what's
something.
throwing me for a loop right now. It's
Right.
like the Vieira weren't in it either, right?
No, they weren't.
Yeah.
It was just a bunch of humans, really. Well, and like goblins and chocobos and stuff like that, but
Sure, sure.
it was mostly like a human cast. But it was very Game of Thronesy, like, basically.
I remember it being really dark. I haven't
Yeah.
played it in a long time, but I remember that being very
Yeah, no,
heavy.
the original was very dark. Tactics Advance, I honestly I wouldn't get that answer from a lot of people. I don't feel like it was fun. I enjoyed it. Like, I played it a lot on Game Boy Advance. I liked a lot about it. I wasn't necessarily crazy about the penalty card system. Uh
Mm, that's fair. That's fair. That's a
yeah.
fair judgment.
Yeah, but I did like all the classes. I liked all the different races and stuff. It was fun. I can see that.
Yeah. I think it's just I did a lot of road trips with my family
Yeah.
growing up, and so I had my Game Boy Advance, and that was just the game that I just played over and over.
Yeah.
So love that one.
I can see
But
that. That was a good one
yeah,
for road trips. I took
yeah.
that on road trips myself. So
There you go. It's a good one.
it is.
Um, but otherwise, the only other thing I don't know. Yeah, I feel like there's a million things about me, but if I know this isn't exactly an overlap of communities, but I do love playing sports. I don't follow sports a ton,
Hmm.
but if there's anybody in the FC that just wants to chat about it, I'm in like four different leagues in different sports just all the time. So I love chatting about it and playing sports. And if anybody's in the Minnesota area and wants to go, I don't know, hit some golf balls or something, hit me up.
I uh I don't know a lot about sports, to be honest with you. About the only sport I ever followed at any point in time was baseball, and that was when I was in my late teens. Um
Okay.
I
Yeah.
don't have the video uploaded yet because I still have to edit it, but Ashton, I think he's a big fan of college basketball.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So he disappears during March. Got it.
Yeah, yeah. And if you ever catch Riami, or he has a bunch of alts. Most of his alts are also named Riami, but there's a new one he made called like Riley Rose or something like that.
Okay.
Mostly on early mornings or like super late nights that are technically morning. But I'm pretty sure that he is into football, just like regular NFL football.
Okay. Cool.
So those are the
Right
two
on.
sports people that I know about that are around
All right.
here.
Well, maybe I'll strike up a conversation sometime.
Yeah, yeah. Well, anything else anywhere like online that people can find you? Do you stream? Do you have like an OnlyFans they need to subscribe to? Like, what do
Well, that one. Um, no, I like probably 10 years ago, I had aspirations of becoming a streamer and not, or a YouTuber really, and
Yeah.
I have not kept up with that. So no, that's fine. no socials or anything. I do just want to say though, thank you very much for doing these. I think you're an awesome host and just a great conversationalist. So this is, it's been really fun listening to these and getting to know people a little bit.
Well, I appreciate that. I also tried to do the YouTube thing about 10 years ago or so. I didn't stick with it because my upload speed was garbage. Up until you don't know this about me probably because you're fairly new, but up until like 2 years ago, my internet speed was 1.5 megabit down and 0.25 up.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did you,
How
how
did
did
I
you
play
do
the
anything?
game?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. Patch days were a challenge. Every gigabyte of patch I had to download was 2 hours.
Oh,
So, so some days the game updated and I just couldn't play.
well,
So
that's so rough. I'm sorry.
I'm a lot
It's,
better
it's
now.
improved. It's improved?
Yeah,
Okay, good.
it's improved. I'm still behind modern times. I'm at like 60 down and 7 up, but it's something and I'll take it. So,
Oh,
well,
that's great.
it was a pleasure talking to you. I appreciate the compliment at the end, and I hope to see you around more in the game here. And if you have
Yeah.
any questions or anything, feel free to hit us up. Keep watching the interviews, and we'll learn some more about some other people here. I got about like 6 more left after you, I think.
Awesome. We'll keep cranking it out.
All right, I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.